Today we are going back to Africa, here on the Culture of Currency. Welcome back, one and all, to a channel dedicated to growing your love for silver coins. Please check out my new website, hobbysilver.com, where I hope to bring even more information and fun extensions of our silver community. Also, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so that we hit our Phase 2 for this channel, which means that you, the viewer, have the opportunity at free silver monthly. Currently, only about 25% of my viewers are subscribed. If those numbers were closer to 75%, we may have already met our monetization amount, which means our giveaways would already have started. I also wanted you to know that there's a new post on hobbysilver.com detailing why I am and always will buy silver and not sell it. Now for our coin. Today we take on a beauty of a coin, and in order to take this coin on, we must migrate back to the amazing country of Rwanda. I did an in-depth cultural video over Rwanda already in the Silver Okapi video, so if you want a taste of their amazingly tragic yet beautiful past, you should watch it. Today we focus on a feathered friend that is the new Pelican coin. We see that this coin follows the tradition of many other Rwandan coins, where the continent of Africa is a part of the scene, but let's start by focusing on this fascinating bird. I must say, often when thinking of a pelican, my nature tells me that this is a nautical bird, as often we associate it with oceans, yet we have Rwanda hosting the bird when Rwanda is hundreds of miles from the coast, so this begs the question, did Rwanda really showcase an animal not from its homeland? Well, luckily for you, I've done my research and discovered that there are multiple species that can be found within Rwanda. Before I get to this coin, there is one image I want to place in front of you. This is from the 18th degree of Scottish Rite Masonry, known as the Rose Croix. As we know, Masons are masters of symbols and imagery, so why the pelican and what's going on? I am somewhat of an expert, so I will walk you through it. We see a pelican in a time of famine willing to pluck away at her own breast in order to feed her young. This is a reference to ultimate sacrifice. The willingness to put yourself in a position of pain for the benefit of others is a true mark of freedom and integrity. This is also a reference to the ultimate sacrifice that Christians believe on when Christ was the Lamb who was sacrificed for the benefit of humanity. All very interesting, and it shows you the nobility of the pelican. I've always been drawn to this bird, and I hope that many of you find this bird captivating as well. Let's focus now on the coin. When looking under magnification, we see that this coin reserves its heavier textures for Africa and uses the subtle textures for the natural scene. I like the juxtaposition between these two elements because it reminds me of that when we look from far away, things seem to be overly complex, and when we look close to nature, we realize the complexities are often simplistic. In other words, it's the little things that make this coin beautiful. When we look at the front of this coin, or obverse, we see a familiar sight. Just like in the Okapi video I did some months back, we have a really cool representation of Rwanda's seal. Given the history of the past 30 years in Rwanda, I can't imagine the amount of pride this seal has. Just a note, in a time where it seems like we are looking for reasons to point out differences, we should take a note from Rwanda. In my Okapi video, we talked about the genocide between the Hutu and the Tutsis. This was a bloody, horrible time focused on ethnic cleansing. Ever since the end of that tumultuous time, Rwanda has made efforts to erase identity politics and race from every part of its society, so much so that for the overwhelming majority of Rwandans, race and ethnic ties are moot points and never needed in conversation. This has led to Rwanda being one of the most exciting places in Africa from an economic standpoint, even leading Rwanda to being one of the most densely populated nations in Africa. Now back to the seal on this coin. We see the branches of coffee and sorghum, which are staples of the agricultural industry in Rwanda. We have a traditional woven basket with the double Z markings and a cog, which denotes the industry. I will say that in many African cultures there are woven baskets and other items that have shapes, patterns, colors that are unique to a cultural area. These baskets can be seen in the Ethno-Historic Museum in Rwanda, and if I'm ever lucky enough to travel there, I want to purchase one of these for my home. We have the cool Rwandan shields on the outside of the coin, which is encircled by a rope with a square knot above the words that mean unity, work, and patriotism. Just like the Okapi, this is a better than average front and scores a 7 out of 10. Now we traverse to the reverse. We maintain the series theme quite well here, with Africa being textured as rough terrain. This is such a unique and cool look. I think this provides the coin with balance, and the elevations are different as well, so it really makes a cool effect the way the light plays off those imperfect valleys and hills. We have a mirrored finish that looks like it overflows to the edge of the coin because there's not a particular ridge. The coin is a 40mm coin, so make sure that if you pick one up, you have the appropriate capsule. The highlight and namesake of this coin are a pair of pelicans standing upon a shoreline with various vegetation present. This is not an overwhelming image, but it's delightful and interesting, so I think it deserves a 7. Now we must talk mintage, which is kind of a bummer. We have no listed mintage amount that I could find, which means we must give it a 5. Maybe one day we will have a firm mintage number, but for many fantastic coins, we sometimes don't have that, and so we can't accurately grade them. There are many coins that could be deemed elite if we had a mintage number, but this coin, like many others, fails to do that. We travel now to cultural significance. We have a beautiful Rwandan coat of arms on the obverse and an image of Africa. We have native species and scenery on the reverse. I cannot speak to how often one would see an image like this, but I know it must be fairly likely because simple Googling pelicans of Rwanda shows similar documentation. So to me it does score an obvious 10. Now for collectability. This coin is the 15th version of a series of Rwandan wildlife. If you can sell 15 versions of any coin, they must have a demand. This coin offers so much. They are unique, they have similar designs each year, but they have such different highlighted animals and are well done. This makes collectability a high grade of 9. I would give it 10, but we don't know mintage. Our last graded category is uniqueness. We have a coin that is from a very unique series. It features a creature that has been the host of many coins, but is one of the most recognizable of our flying friends. It is the latest in a series of 15. When I hold this coin, I do not think I feel like I have something rare, but rather just something happy to stare at, so it scores a 7. This brings our total to a 45 out of 60, which means that this is a great coin for most collectors. If you collect African coins, bird coins, series coins like Rwanda, or just like the way it looks, then great, this is a great pickup for you. If you have no affection for these areas, then it will not add any internal value to your collection and it may not be right for you. As for me, the pelican is among my favorite birds of all the world and I cannot resist but pick this one up. Thank you for all you do to support me, and remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.